In this video, we're going to listen to the difference between a limiter and a clipper. Now, I'm using Clip Shifter, which is free as my clipper for this, and I'm using Pro L2 as my limiter, which is paid. But I want you to pay attention to this. I've set up the limiter with the fastest possible attack, so it's going to be doing a really aggressive form of limiting. But there's something I noticed with this that you're definitely going to want to pay attention for. So I have this quick little sketch of a house drop right here. It's not too much really done yet, it's pretty much a new project. But I'm going to start by playing it with the clipper on, and I want you to listen for some distortion because this mix is running pretty hot into it. And I want you to listen for some clipping that you may hear. So it starts off with just this one little patch, but it's going to quickly fade into a full little thing here that you could listen to right now. Now, specifically when the chords are changing, because it's very dynamic piano, you can kind of hear some clipping going on. But what's really interesting, if we throw this over to the limiter, try to pay attention to that some more, and see if you still notice it. So I think the limiter is doing a much better job at handling such a hot signal that's being run into this. I'm not really hearing that distortion like I am with the clipper. But in certain mixdowns, this is going to be more desirable. Other ones, it's not going to be. Because what you'll find, or at least what I've found when I'm doing some mixing or mastering, the clipper, with the way that I mix, which is usually running pretty hot into things, the clipper will maintain my punchiness of my kick and snare quite a bit more, and usually that's desirable. Especially I'm mainly a drum and bass producer, and in that genre, I tend to really like the crispiness of my mixes when I have a clipper on. But in something a bit more chill like this, if you're running hot and the distortion's really audible, it's not really that much of a problem to go ahead and switch over to a limiter like I'm doing here. And we could listen to what's being limited as well. So that's just what we're getting with that limiter, what it's doing. And it's really not going into it too badly. I could demo this some more if I turn it up quite a bit, so it's very obviously clipping. We'll run it with the clipper first. So like this. That doesn't sound good at all, but if we switch to a limiter, doesn't sound perfect, but it's handling it a lot more. But as I say, in more high intense genres like drum and bass, if you're doing some punchy kick and snare transients and more bassy music, I tend to like what the clipper does, and you gotta mix accordingly, because if you're pushing it too much and you get that distortion, you're not gonna like it. So you want to kind of take more care of it when you're doing a mix down like that. And I could demo that. We'll open up another project here. So here's another project. This is a much bigger one, obviously. We've just thrown a clipper on it, so pay attention to our kick and snare, how it punches through versus when we switch to a limiter. Switching. It's real subtle. I don't know if that's something that's really going to translate well on YouTube with whatever compression happens. But with the clipper, it just sounds a bit more crisp, I think, compared to when you use that limiter. But the limiter will clean up a distortion-heavy signal quite a bit more. So as I say, it's really about what music you're making. It's something like house, if you're doing a more minimal approach, where that distortion is going to be super noticeable, you kind of want to use the limiter. But if you're doing something like high-intense drum and bass, where a lot of that's getting just blending into the mixdown and it sounds good, you might want to go for your clipper. That's my general findings. I hope that makes sense. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. But of course, leave a like if you enjoyed this one, and I'll catch you in the next video.